talking about getting time to get it all done, one of the common things I get asked is, I just haven't got time to get everything I need to do done. And that has a couple of consequences. One of the consequences is that we have these big to-do lists and they never get done. We never get to the end of them. We feel guilty when we're not getting them done. We always feel we need to do more. There's no pleasure at the end of each day because we've got another 200 things on our to-do list. The to-do list can keep growing. These are things I can talk about very personally because I've had these issues. And we talked about how they're sort of counterproductive. On the second day, on day two, we talked about the apps that sometimes are supposed to help us and they don't. If we're entrepreneurs, 70 or 80% can't use the apps. They need something physical. We have something we do on that, but that's for another time. But we need something more physical and more controlled so we can feel good at the end of the day. And then we also talked about doing a time audit. So just to become aware of how we really spend our time, not how we think we spend our time, but how we really spend our time. And if you followed yesterday and you did an audit of how you spend your time over one day, you should really do it over a week to be really, you can go, oh, that was a different day. If you do it over a week, you can begin to see patterns. And that is really important because when you see a pattern, then you know that there are certain areas you can do work on. Today, before we get into what you found on the audit, because you may want to do another couple of days, I want you to start thinking about how you value time. Now, we could easily talk about, of course you value your time. Time is really important. You've heard that 1,000 times. That is probably not what I'm talking about. In fact, I know it's not what I'm talking about, but while that's important that you understand that time is a very, very limited resource. We only have a certain number of hours we can work in the day. Even if we work as many hours as there possibly are, we still got to sleep. And if we don't sleep very soon, our performance will be impacted. We've got a certain number of hours in a week. We got a certain number of hours in a week. Now that assumes when we're not taking into account family time. Shouldn't we want to spend time with our family? I was talking to a client the other day, and she was saying that, she's got a 2-year-old, but, when she gets the business running, she'll have more quality time with her 2-year-old. And I remember when I had very young kids, I used to think the same way. And I started losing time with my children because I'd be so busy at work. And when I came home, I was so tired. And even on weekends, I just want to make up time with sleep. And I really lost that time with my youngest children until I discovered some of the things we're talking about today. And then I never missed school play. I never missed sports days with them. It was just fantastic. And we had more time for holidays and, more importantly, time with my wife and kids when she was not well. And so I'm not talking about that type of value. We do want to value our time, and that can almost go without saying. Mind you, saying it probably brings it back to the forefront, right? What I want to talk about is getting more, that's the emotional side of, family time and hobby time and just time to live. Time to live is not when you're just about to die or when you're retired. That is not the time to live. The time to live is now, right? We need to make the most of now. And as you're doing the audit, I want you to start now becoming conscious of the value of your time in monetary terms. So what do I mean by that? What I'm looking at here is what is your time worth in dollar bills or pound notes, right? I'm going to just get my calculator out. So we're going to do a couple of quick calculations. And on my calculator, let's just do, while I'm getting my calculator ready, let's just have a couple of thoughts, right? So we have aspirations in our business. If you've been in your business a few years and your business is stuck and your results aren't changing, and you're just going to work every day, earning your money, coming home, spending it on a mortgage and a holiday, to Spain or to Florida or or something like that, and you can't afford the family Disney holiday or whatever, maybe you've lost touch with that dream. I want you to get back in touch with that dream, and I want you to identify how much you want to earn in a year, right? And let's say, let me just do that. Let's say you want to earn, what would be a reasonable amount? I don't want to go too crazy because we want to start off at a sensible amount. Maybe we'll talk about $100,000 or £100,000 or something like that. We'll talk about dollars for now. Round sums, 100 in pounds is probably about 70,000. Okay, so the average wage in the UK is about 27,000, and in the US, I think it's about $30,000. That's the average, right? I was on a workshop the other day, and somebody said, the average, what was it? Out of every 100 people, there'll be 30 millionaires in America. And I'm not sure that's true, but let's play with this anyway. So we've got this. We're recording this. So let's just do the numbers, right? So let's take $100,000, and we want to divide it by the number of weeks we want to work in the year. Let's say we want to work, shall we say 46? So divided by 46 weeks a year, that's $2,100 per week. And let's say we want to work, let's say 35 hours a week, right? So divided by 35. So that, and that as an hourly rate is 62, right? $62 an hour. Now, when you start looking at the audit, how much are you spending on doing the work you're doing on the audit, right? How much of it is $62 per hour work, and how much of it is $10 an hour work? How much of it is $30 an hour work? And how much of it is $10,000 an hour work? How much of it is $100,000 an hour work? Because there is that type of work. And you may think, oh, that's ridiculous. But think about this. What if you spent 5 hours in a week on work that would increase your profits by $20,000 per year? All right. Over 5 years, that's $100,000. So those 5 hours, you were doing $100,000 work, right? Now, okay, now you were doing it over 5 hours, so you may want to go, well, but it is $100,000 work that you're spending those 5 hours doing. On the other hand, if you're just focusing on 100 different things, you're not going to get that. I think you'd agree. So be busy doing everything. So for today, I'm going to stop there. I want you to do your calculation, right? So you take the number you want to earn, and this is before tax, by the way, right? So you're going to take the number you want to earn, whichever tax is in your country. You're going to identify how many weeks you want to work. So you divide the total number of amount you want to earn per year. You divide it by the number of weeks you want to work, and then you divide it by the number of hours you want to work in a week. And that will tell you what your really target hourly rate should be if you want to get to that. And that begins to start the thinking process we're going to be working on. If we work together in detail, we're going to be doing this in deep. But for this week, I'm going to be going through on this. Okay. So I'm going to leave you there, hoping that is beginning to sink in, and that something will need to change. And that is the way I want to get to. But we've already discussed some of the background to why it's important. Now we're trying to get to the emotion now of, goodness me, I better change something. All right. So that's it for now. I wish you well. I'll speak to you tomorrow for day 4 of time to get it all done. Take care.